Hi everyone, welcome. I am here today because I just had the awesome opportunity for the past 2 days to attend the Global Leaders Summit in my hometown of Rice Lake, Wisconsin. And my local church, Red Cedar Church, broadcasted it, live streamed it, and it was just one of the best experiences I've had in a long time as far as professional development and leadership. What was neat about it is that I haven't attended a professional development in years that was geared toward anything besides teachers. But naturally, with the leadership, I was able to relate it back to what I do in my classroom. And I wrote a blog post last night on my blog, Middle School Teacher Literacy Coach, and I titled it 5 Leadership Lessons for Teachers. And today I just wanted to take some time to walk you through those 5 takeaways that I took from the summit and how I related that to what we can do in our classroom as teachers. So, you know how it is when you attend professional development. I saw 10 impactful speakers that just totally changed my life views. One out of those 10 could have changed them. So how do you go through pages and pages of notes and decide on what are your takeaways? Going through my notes after a conference is one of my favorite things to do because I love trying to clump things together and make them make sense in my own mind. So today, like I said, I'm going to give you those 5 things that I really took from the Global Leadership Summit and how I related that to teaching. So the first one that I took away is don't fear discomfort. The person who founded the Global Leadership Summit, his name is Bill Hybels. He's the founder and lead pastor of Willow Creek Community Church. He described one of the traits as a strong leader of having resourcefulness. And what he means by that is somebody who's willing to never stop learning. He described it as somebody who actually is near addicted to learning. And he just talks about how the people that he sees as strong leaders are the people that are willing to put themselves into those uncomfortable and awkward situations and figure out what to do. Liz Wiseman, who is the president of the Wiseman Group and also a best-selling author, referred to a similar concept that Bill Hybels talked about, and she called it the rookie zone. I really like the name, the rookie zone, because you can just imagine what it is right away. It's putting yourself back into that idea of what was it like when you first tried something when it was hard and it was new and it was scary. And she argues that people actually operate at their very best when they are in the rookie zone. And so as leaders, we should try to put ourselves in that rookie zone as often as possible. So my first main point of don't fear discomfort, how I related both what Bill Hybels and Liz Wiseman said to teaching is I talked about how, channel back to that very first day that you stepped foot in the classroom. This school year, I'll be starting my 8th year, but I can still remember back to that very first day that I stepped in front of my group of 8th grade students and they looked at me and I looked at them and you just felt like, oh man, what do I do next? It's scary. But it's good to remember that, and it's good to remember what that feels like. I have a goal this year of spending time with one of our first-year teachers at our school and not taking the time, not being there always to just mentor them, but allow them to mentor me. Take time to really see what they're seeing through their eyes, because that vulnerability, that excitement, that can be channeled into what I do on a day-to-day basis and help me be a better teacher and a better leader. The second point that I took away is to be a giver. Adam Grant, who is a professor at Wharton School of Business and also a best-selling author, he talked about 3 different types of people. He talked about givers, matchers, and takers. He asked us to predict who was the top performing group of people and who was the worst performing group of people. I didn't really know it was a trick question, but I found out through his speech that givers are actually an overrepresented population, and so they are actually the worst performing people, but they also are the highest performing people. And he made a lot of interesting arguments for how takers, givers, and matchers interact with one another. One tidbit that I found interesting, matchers, people who won't do anything for you unless you do something for them, often get in trouble in the workplace because sometimes when they need a favor from somebody specific who they haven't done a favor from, all of a sudden they're in trouble. So what Adam Grant talked about is in the workplace, a lot of times what happens is takers rise to the top fast, but they also fall from the top fast because other takers take them down and matchers also take them down as well. One phrase that I love that Adam Grant said over and over again was, you have to get the right people on the bus. So the importance of hiring the right people and being able to recognize the takers and not hire them into your workplace. Getting the right people on the bus means that you have mostly givers that you work with, and all of a sudden if matchers are surrounded by givers, what do they become? They become givers as well. So once again, I related this to the world of teaching, and I tried to think about what do takers, what do matchers, and what do givers look like in a school setting. So here's what I came up with. I said that takers, they're the people that take time out at staff meetings for personal questions, to complain about something, to take us totally off target of what we're supposed to be getting done at that staff meeting. Takers are the people that take lesson plans from others without ever making their own and sharing out with other people. Takers in a school setting are the people that don't really care to collaborate with other people and just prefer to do their own thing, even if it's different than what the district vision is. Takers are also the people that, all of a sudden it's an important day in the school, it's a field trip day or something like that, and all of a sudden they call in sick or take a vacation day. Those are the takers in the school. The matchers are very interesting people. The matchers are the people that say, well, I'd be happy to do the lesson plan for this week if you're willing to do it for next week. I'll take your morning duty. I have morning duty next week if you would switch with me. They're also the people that, if you have an issue with a parent or something, well, I'll talk to them, but I really need to talk to the principal about something, so could you go talk to him about this? So matchers are somebody that they're willing to do something, but it's always in exchange for something else. And they have to feel like it's justified and fair. Givers. Givers in a school are these type of people. People who say, here are my lesson plans. If you need them, use them. They're the people that say, oh, you have to drop your children off early for school and aren't able to make morning duty. I'm happy to take that for you. They're the people that give compliments and build people up. They're also the people that, maybe a teacher has a student that they're really struggling with in their class. They're the people that might say, hey, let's switch them over to my class and see if they'll do any better in a different environment, a different setting around different students. They're just the people that are willing to do whatever it takes to make the school function the right way. So my question to you is, what if every single person in the school was a giver? What if we created a culture where we asked each other, what do we need? How can I help you? And anybody can help anyone with something. What would that school look like? What would the learning from the students look like? And how could that just transform a whole culture of a school? The third point that I took away from the Leadership Summit was to provide a service of excellence. Horst Schulze, who about 5 minutes into his presentation, I began to understand his German accent. He was actually the CEO of the Ritz-Carlton, and now he's the CEO of the Capella Hotel Group. And so he is in the hotel service industry, obviously, but his speech really resonated with me across all industries and really helped me recognize that we are all in a service profession. No matter what we do, we are in a service profession, even if we maybe don't view ourselves as that. And I really started to understand that as a school, we are most definitely in a service profession. We are in a service to provide the best education to students. We are in the service to communicate effectively with parents and make sure that they are pleased consumers. We are also in a service to provide taxpayers with information and a school that they're proud to contribute to. So we as teachers are providing a service every single day. What Horst Schulze talked about in his speech is he just talked about the idea of how can you bring the highest level of excellence to what you do every single day. So what does that look like in a school? That looks like probably showing up early, being at the door greeting your students, having a lesson prepared that you know meets the needs of the students in your classroom, not just pulling out what you did last year. It means a lot to provide the highest level of service as a teacher, and we shouldn't take that job lightly. That really was something that was reminded to me through watching him and just seeing how different levels of service matter, because we need our consumers, students, parents, community members, we need their trust and we need their support. The fourth tidbit that I had is eliminate the language of the lid. Craig Groeschel, the founder and senior pastor of Life Church TV, he was a phenomenal speaker to watch. He had more energy than I've ever seen. He talked about the idea of that self-talk that we do with ourselves, that idea that we are in our own heads all the time, and even though we could possibly be getting all these different tasks done, instead we stay in our heads and tell ourselves that we can't. If we can eliminate that self-talk, we know that we could accomplish a lot more. I actually, as he was talking, felt my face like growing red and kind of my heart started to beat a little bit faster because I know that I use the language of the lid. I close myself off and lose my capabilities. I lose what I could potentially do because of my self-talk. Teachers were so good at this. Oh, I just can't take on one more thing because I'm just so busy. And we are busy and we do have a million things going on at once, but how can we change that self-talk so that we're being productive, that we're asking for help, that we're empowering the people around us to do things that maybe could ease our load a little bit. There's lots of things that we can become better leaders at and increase our self-talk and get more things done. The last thing that I have is the advice to just stay in the game. Jim Collins, who is a nationally acclaimed business thinker and also another best-selling author, he was kind of a military man, tough and very direct and to the point. You couldn't help but just let everything he said feel like, okay, I'm listening to you. I believe you. I'm going to do what you say. He talked about that you have to stay in the game. That in life, if we think that we are only dealt one deck of cards and that deck of cards is all we're going to get, then we are in really big trouble. We have to understand that in life, we're dealt multiple decks of cards. And we have to, and some are going to be good and some are going to be bad, but we have to keep playing the game. We have to keep going and realizing that our next deck might be better if we're dealt a bad deck now. He brought up the question, what if Bill Gates would have quit? What if he would have just stopped doing what he is doing? That question really, when I thought about it, why do we do what we do? We should do what we do because we want to improve other people's lives, because it gives our life a purpose. As educators, we get so bogged down. Sometimes I'm so guilty of this, of letting myself be negatively influenced by politics, by something that administration decides, by something that a school board decision decides, and I let that drive my attitude and my feeling toward my passion, which is teaching students. We have to remove ourselves from that and look at our situation here and now and how can we be the very best that we can be here and now, not worrying about those extra factors around us and let that bog us down and make us somebody who we are not. If any of you out there are from Wisconsin and you're an educator, you know that it has not been easy for us over the last couple of years with Governor Walker taking over office and what he's done to public education. This speech really helped me understand that, we have to understand that our cards that we're dealt, it's one hand. And I'm in my 8th year of teaching this year. I have many years of teaching left, and those cards will get better. We have to just stay in the game. And we have to stay in the game because of that passion we brought when we were a rookie teacher, a student teacher, first year teacher. We have to stay in the game because our students deserve us to stay in the game. I've seen too many awesome educators already leave the profession, and it's having a negative impact on our students. those are my 5 takeaways from the Leadership Summit. It was an awesome experience. They do a bunch of host sites all over the United States and Canada. So next year, I believe the dates are August 11th and 12th. It was very affordable, very easy to just join in and go watch it at my church, but I still felt like I was right there in the action. So if you have the opportunity to attend next year, I would highly recommend. And I appreciate all of you who watch my Periscope, and I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Bye.